Watashitachi no Watashi Our Happy Time is a story about redemption. Adapted from a Korean novel written by Gong Ji-young, the manga tells the same tale, but sets it within Japan's prison system. The story is brief, but one that may stick with the reader. Juri Mutuo is an affluent woman nearing 30 who lives a depressing life with seemingly no way to go on. After her third attempt at suicide, she's given an ultimatum: remain locked in an asylum or accompany her gilf Aunt Monica, a dedicated nun, on prison visits to death row inmates. Juri starts visiting Yu, himself a suicidal inmate, on Thursday mornings. Yu and Juri find themselves opening up to one another quickly and in many ways relating to each other. Yu, charged with spontaneously murdering 3 people, is quiet and closed off. Juri, wanting to move on from her own traumatic past, is determined to find out why Yu killed those people. The helpful warden believes that the continued visits between them will help Yu calm down and come to terms with his impending end. Our Happy Time is quite revered in the manga community. However, I don't really like this story, and I don't agree with all of the critical sentiments that it's received. I read the story when I was younger, and even then, I just kind of felt like it was a little contrived. There are a lot of elements that I like, the artwork especially, but the story itself, it's just too unbelievable and it takes away from the more grounded moments of the manga. Yet, despite all of my sentiments, I can still see why it's so beloved in the community. The story is something you don't often see printed in manga magazines, and the art itself doesn't look that dated, so I can see anyone picking it up and having the plot itself relate to them. The artwork done by the enigmatic Mizu Sahara is the real standout. It's reminiscent of the 90s Bishonen yaoi aesthetic, but still uniquely her own. The plot, however, isn't great. Christian undertones prevail, and the justification that the author provides for us to sympathize with Yu and Juri is so bleh. Juri's past does not justify her erratic behavior today, and Yu's split decision mistake and harsh upbringing doesn't absolve him of his senseless murders or prior criminal past. I'm also put off by the rando villain insert, which this manga could have done without. It adds an unnecessary flair that feels very 2004 adultfanfiction.net. I'd say the most engaging part of this story for me was when the warden reveals to Juri exactly how Japanese death sentences are carried out. In Japan, executions can happen at any point in your sentencing. It can be 5 days, 5 years, or your whole natural lifespan. You're given no heads up, and you're taken to get executed swiftly early in the morning with no fanfare. Your family is alerted after you've been hung that their relative is gone. Imagine getting that text message in between Broadview Station. It's quite chilling, and finding out that fact added so much more weight to the series, especially for non-native readers like me. But I feel that was a plot device that should have been given much more focus than the cringy, shitty childhood backstories. I do, however, love Aunt Monica. Religious thrusting aside, she really is a benevolent character and adds so much to the plot in ways you don't even realize until you've completed the story. Our Happy Time feels more like a commentary piece on prisoner reform and Japan's cold capital punishment laws than an atypical dramatic manga. But it was a fine read that kept my attention from start to finish. It's not a must-read IMO, but it's a manga that otaku talk about, and I feel that the discussions on the themes of the manga and what the characters could have been if presented alternative life paths are the strongest takeaways, not the story itself. If you like anything that reeks of CW, you'll enjoy Watashi no Jikan. It's getting a 5 from me.